Live. That is not the intro. Let's try that.
Let me be your nerd. Let me be your nerd now. I say it, baby, 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 baby.
What the hell was that?
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Podcast, episode 93. I am Mike.
I'm Doug. I forgot to put
And
my mic in front of me.
I tell you, we're ready for tonight.
Yeah.
Coming to you live Friday night in Phoenix, your premier nerd podcast, premier geek podcast on Friday nights. And by premiere, I mean the first one. We premiere. Guys, this is your daddy's podcast. Two middle-aged guys gooping about nerd stuff for an hour. That's what we do. If that interests you guys, be sure to like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Those of you listening out there in podcast land, be sure to join us. Oh, man. Let me see if we have something's not working. Let's see here.
Uh-oh.
See what it is? Thrown off by the wrong intro. That did it.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, guys. Kyle is in the chat. Kyle, welcome. Guys, be sure to check out the Absolute Geek Podcast tonight. The return of Kyle. Kyle from the Modern Comics Mayhem is coming back to his roots here, and he'll be on the Absolute Geek Podcast tonight at 7:30. So be sure to check them out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, Doug, say something while I
We're trying to check the audio.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay.
All right,
There we go.
We're all good.
Our levels look right. Possibly.
Got to change my orientation of my seat so you can see my now painted Lumineth stuff back there.
See, yeah, you go your nerd stuff there.
Yeah.
Make sure that's going on. All right. All right. So we're up on Twitch, up on YouTube. All right. Facebook's going. Awesome.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, it's the Facebook one is a problem. Okay, there we go. We're going live on.
Oh, where's one of our channels not working correctly?
Yep, there we go. Now we got green check marks across the board.
Cool.
All right, guys. Little technical issues here on a Friday night. Guys, we're back. What threw us off was we didn't have a podcast last week because Doug was out of town
Yeah.
with his army men
Yeah.
playing toy soldier
Playing toy soldiers. Playing little
in
men.
California. But yes, was it fun, Doug? Did you have fun on your trip? I know we're talking about it in our next podcast, but
super cool. I have missed going to events this last almost 2 years now.
yeah.
So it was incredibly cool. I look forward to talking about it. Yeah.
So to get out there before they shut us down again.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's getting kind of bad out there.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I miss there we go.
Are we going the Philip DeFranco route?
Oh,
Or are you trying to be what's up?
there we go. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was to say, are we going the Philip DeFranco route, or are we going to try and be more PC? Not even PC, just whatever. Go get freaking vaccinated, you idiots.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm all. If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. I'm like, the problem is with the not getting vaccinated is that the death rate's too low for any kind of Darwinism to take over. So, I got my notice
Don't let
that I had
somebody with COVID cough in your mouth.
Yeah. I got my notice for my booster coming up in November. Did you get a notice on that?
Not yet, no.
And so I guess that's when, was it like every year we're going to get a booster? Is that, or 8 months or
I
whatever?
mean, we're at the 8-month mark. I think this, so far, they've only talked about the one booster.
No.
So.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, I'm willing to try any kind of, well, hey, I'm middle-aged. I'll take whatever kind of experiment. I'll be a guinea pig. That's fine. As long as I can go back out and game in public, I'm good to go. All right. We've got quite a bit to talk about today. And as you guys know from the thumbnail, we are going to be reviewing What If. And we just reviewed episode 1 last week because we weren't here. So we got 1 and 2. So why don't we kick that off, Doug? Why don't we? What do you think of? What's your overall opinion of What If 2 episodes in?
What If is just fun. It's not anything super serious. It's not as deep, or it's just not as deep as the other Marvel Disney Plus shows. It's not going to be as impactful on the universe. They're just fun. So yeah, I don't know. I liked them both. They were both really cool.
All right, let's talk about the first one, Captain Carter.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? I love the first one. I know some people were like, well, wasn't my favorite, but they crammed quite a bit. They crammed basically an hour-long movie into half-hour show.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was cool. I think it basically, and I think this is true of both of them, they assume you have seen the movie it's based on, so they can just kind of hit the high points and enough for you to nod and go,
fading in and out there, buddy.
Different. What's that?
I think your audio is fading in and out.
No, I don't know. I wonder if that's because it's too far from me or what. Can you still hear me?
Well, you sound like a robot now.
Oh, great.
There we go.
How about now?
Kind of.
Now?
That's a very very robot voice, or at least maybe it's my
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if somebody in the chat can let us know. Do I sound weird, or is Mike just hearing me weird? But anyways, yeah.
And now you can't hear you at all.
This could be your headphones, dude. Your headphones have been bad for a while, so.
All right.
Yeah, Kyle said I sound fine to him.
Kyle says he sounds fine to him, so I guess maybe it's me.
Yeah. Anyways, what did you think about the first one?
All right.
Guess I'm gonna
say something.
I'm saying something. What did you think about the episode? It's gonna be a bummer if your headphones are dead for this episode.
There we go. I said, I
fiddle with the headphones.
My experience at IT, I fixed it by unplugging it and plugging it back in.
There you go. Turn off and on again.
Yeah, there we go. So, all right. So you were saying Captain Carter.
Yeah, it assumes you've seen the movie it's based on, so that you can nod at the moments that are like, oh yeah, haha, that's what's different. That happened in this, and now this is different. So I thought it was really good. Nice. It was just fun.
Was there anything? All right, so the tentacle monster at the end. You have any theories on that? Do you think it's
Oh, isn't it like I forget which Doctor Strange baddie that is based on.
Some Cthulhu name, sounding name with an S.
Yeah, like Shimagoroth or
Shimagoroth. Yeah, that's what it was.
Something like that.
Yep. There we go. So yeah, and then there's rumors that they're saying that some of these things are going to play into some of the live action stuff that's coming up, right? And they kind of went out of their way to say yes, it's canon. Shimagoroth. That all this is canon, which could mean like, oh yeah, it's canon. It's all multiple universe stuff.
The multiverse,
but they're saying some of this is going to leak in through that multiverse into the live action. Like the big rumor is Haley Atwell will show up as Captain Carter in the Multiverse of Madness, right?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Any chance to see more Haley Atwell, I'm for it.
Yeah.
See, and Kyle says it was good for what it was, absolutely. And I don't think I think, especially after the heaviness of WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, and Loki was a little more lighthearted, but it did have some, you know, heavy themes as well. I like the lightheartedness of what if.
I do like the end of Captain Carter, where it kind of reestablished this is a new Avengers that we could be looking at.
Yeah.
So that'll be
absolutely
interesting. Because one presumes that at some point, if you're kind of ending these episodes open-ended, you're kind of leaving them open-ended, not like, oh, they're exactly the same except for this one middle part that changed, that it would lead someplace.
Yeah. There was a lot of people that were saying that Steve should have turned into the Winter Soldier. You know, in that one, he should have been the Winter Soldier going forward. And I'm like, can you imagine skinny Steve? I don't care how many cybernetics they give him.
Yeah.
I don't see him as the menacing Winter Soldier type. But if episode 1 kicked off the series and episode 2 was just crazy, it brought the crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, and it was more than just a. I mean, these are all based on like one single event that changed the course of history, right?
Right.
But as we're Captain Carter, it was just basically swapping who did what. There was some other ramifications because of it, but not as much as episode 2, where that one little change changed a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the craziest? Well, let's get down to it. What do you think when Thanos showed up as a Ravager? Was it?
I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was very shocking. It was like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? But then when they kind of talked about it, I was like, oh, that's fun. Actually, this is a really cool twist on it. You know, like somebody actually talked to him about his idea and said, that's a bad idea.
Somebody said everything that everybody said when it first came out. Like, why don't you just make more resources? Like, I thought it was great. And the only thing was a little bit weird is that, you know, how he couldn't straight handle, you know, his former lackeys, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, one, he wasn't wearing armor. He didn't have powers. He didn't have any Infinity Stones.
Yeah, stones. Because when he took on the Hulk, he had stones. He had 2 of the stones. So it wasn't like he was. So if you figure I forget the big dude's name. If you figure that guy is equivalent to at least Abomination, maybe closer to Hulk, then it makes sense.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it
was very cool.
Chadwick Boseman's last performance as T'Challa, I think that was it was great. From what I understand, he might be in some of the later episodes this season.
Oh, he might have voiced more.
Yeah, but
because we still haven't seen the Guardians Avengers, you know, the Avengers of the Universe or Avengers of the Galaxy or whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
So what did you think? What was your favorite moment in episode 2? Because I mean, personally, I like episode 2 better than the first one. I like the first one just fine, but I really like the second one.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that's funny because I thought 1 was more grounded, and more realistic. The second one was very much like, wow, an awful lot changed just because this guy is competent, and you know. But favorite moment, I don't know. I don't know. It was nothing really stood out as like, oh, that was super cool, like way better than how it happened in the real universe. I did think that Drax was hilarious. Still being super literal.
I tell you what the biggest takeaway from that episode was what happened to Captain America and Thor with Tabon has has their weapons in his locker.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, yeah, I think Kyle, I agree with you. You liked it because it was so different. And it was. The first one was basically just like a swap out of characters, which was fine. I liked it. The second one just kind of went, it went for it, over the top butterfly effect.
Right.
And it teased at the end there the Peter Quill and Ego.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yep.
this could possibly end the universe here, right? And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of speculation that's going to tie into a season 2 episode, right?
Yeah, okay.
If they, we'll see what happens there. What does that look like? What is Peter Quill, who didn't have Yondu in his life, what decisions he makes?
Right, yeah.
Given this power of a Celestial. So, yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. There's a lot of speculation. Do you think, what's your opinion on it having ramifications for the future MCU, knowing that we're heading into this multiverse in live action?
I personally think that the ramifications will be limited and mostly kind of just cameo type things. Like, yeah, Captain Carter might show up, but is that really going to have a huge impact? Will she stay around for very long, or will she just be there to help in a critical moment and then goes back to her own universe?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I don't think there's going to be I don't think we're going to be reshuffling the table and suddenly, Spider-Man's the new Sorcerer Supreme in the regular Marvel universe, or Captain Carter's going to hang out, or Yondu's still alive, and leading a Ravager crew that includes Thanos or anything like that.
Although
that
awesome
stuff isn't going to happen. Yeah.
All right. So with What If, director had an interview, and they're basically talking about some of the things that were off limits. I know they at one point, they told her that you can't use any Star Wars stuff in there, but 2 properties that were off limits, not because of any rights issues or anything like that, but X-Men and Fantastic Four were off limits because the whole concept of What If was basically taking established MCU stuff and tweaking it slightly. What would happen with one change, and they haven't been established yet.
Right.
So even though everyone's all like, this would be a perfect time to show us Fantastic Four or X-Men, but we have to wait till they get established. Yeah. Till they get established in here. So they were off limits. And also people were wondering about, why didn't Tom Holland voice Spider-Man? Why isn't he voicing Spider-Man in the upcoming episode? And the reason why is because of the deal with Sony. So they'd have to procure rights because Tom Holland is Spider-Man in the Sony movies. Marvel couldn't use him even though Marvel can use the character of Spider-Man for whatever they want, especially with animation. They got all the merchandising rights, they got the animation rights, so they can do whatever they want in animation with Spider-Man. But Tom Holland himself is associated with Sony, so they'd have to actually get permission from Sony to do that. So unfortunately, because it's not that Tom Holland wouldn't do it, I'm sure he'd be all down for voicing Spider-Man. But other than that, it was awesome that we got a lot of the voice actors back, especially in the second one. I couldn't believe how many people that got back for the second one. But some of the notable ones are like, Steve Rogers in the first one, different voice. Did any of the new voices throw you off at all, or?
No.
And we haven't seen Iron Man yet. I think the Tony Stark one, because Robert Downey Jr. has such a distinctive voice.
Yeah.
That
that
might
be interesting. But no, nothing really threw me off. They did a close enough job that it didn't really take me out of anything.
Yeah. All the ones that mattered. In the second one, the ones that really mattered was, obviously, Yondu and Thanos, right? They're very distinct voices, and it'd be really hard to replicate those. But
true.
I don't know. I like what they did. So all in all, I'm excited for the rest of What If. We'll be reviewing each episode each week for you guys. what we think of it. And let's talk about Shang-Chi.
All right. We got the first social media reactions for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And it seems we're in store for something special with this one. We've got a bunch of these. Scott Menzel, at Scott D. Menzel. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings earns the title of the best superhero film of 2021 so far. The action scenes are simply spectacular, especially the train and skyscraper scene. Best martial arts I've seen in a long time. Simu Liu and Aquafina are terrific. Then we got Kirsten at Kirsten Acuna. Hashtag Shang-Chi is fantastic. It's full of incredible, all caps, beautifully choreographed fight scenes and full of badass women. Get ready to know Simu Liu's name, as if you don't already. Marvel has another hit on its hands. Joseph Deckelmeyer at Joe Luminerdi. Yes, Joe Luminerdi.
Joe Luminerdi.
Three things. One, hashtag Shang-Chi has on the best hashtag MCU origins I've seen. I think he meant one of.
Yeah.
The best. Two, the action in Shang-Chi, or hashtags, again, misspelling, is some of the best I've seen in the MCU. Three, at Simu Liu is my favorite actor in the MCU and is welcome to karaoke with us at any time. I assume there must be a karaoke scene.
Yeah, I assume there is too.
Aaron Couch, at Aaron Couch, the hashtag Shang-Chi crowd was the most enthusiastic I have been with since Endgame. Couldn't hear some of the post-credit scene dialogue due to cheering. Shang and Katie are instant MCU all-stars. The premiere gave away the return of Ben Kingsley. Interesting.
Yeah. So Ben Kingsley comes rolling up on the red carpet during the premiere, and everyone's all like, what? So, I mean, there was no hiding the fact that, I mean, and it makes sense, obviously, right? Especially if you saw the
Hail to the King.
The Hail to the King short, back when they were doing the shorts between movies.
Yep.
So, yeah, I can't wait to see what he's like, a prisoner or the Mandarin, what they're doing with him.
That'd be cool.
All right, Matt from Absolute Geek Podcast in the house. All right. So, I mean, 2 weeks, Doug. 2 weeks for Shang-Chi. We gotta get our tickets.
Yeah, we do.
We're gonna go out and brave the Delta variant to see it in theaters. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
just wear a mask.
That's right.
It'll be fine.
We're designated all-time spreaders. We got. All right. I don't know. Has this got you more hyped to see this, or because they've been putting out? I've been trying to avoid them. Although I did see the bus clip. They've been putting out clips like every day for this movie.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, hopefully they don't do that all the way up to the movie, because, I don't want to see any more of it. I'm down. I've drank the Kool-Aid. They got my money. We're going to be their opening day. I don't want to see any more of it. But I will say that fight scene on the bus, just that little clip of it, I was just like, wow, this is amazing fight choreography.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I got mad about Iron Fist all over again. I was like, just watching that, I was like, my feelings should have been like, oh, I'm super excited. Instead, I'm like, man, they really screwed up Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
They did.
All right. Not only Shang-Chi, but we also got our final trailer for Eternals this week, and it was pretty crazy. All right. So it was almost 3-minute trailer.
Yeah.
So, and it explains quite a bit. So we get to see the Deviants. We get to see Crow, right? Anyway, Crow's already was one of the Deviants, as well as like close up of the Celestials, which were
full on Celestials.
Yeah, pretty crazy. And we get a little bit of the story, right? A little bit of what's going on with the story, like including where they've been, why they haven't shown themselves up until now, right?
Oh.
And what basically the snap that brought everybody back, that much life coming back on Earth signaled some kind of event that's happening, and they have 7 days before the end of the world. So when the Celestials are coming or whatever, they alerted the Celestials or whatever, they're coming back to Earth, which is probably what the case is. And so now they got to gather all the Eternals who have kind of like dispersed amongst the humans all over the world. They got to gather them all up to defend the Earth from whatever is happening here. So, but they had to break their promise of not interfering.
Not interfering, yeah.
Yeah. And the big thing is after watching this, you gotta wonder what they're doing, because this is supposed to be setting up the next phase, right? This coupled with all multiverse stuff here, there could be major implications going forward to what's going on. Because when you think of Eternals and Celestials, you think of stuff like Galactus, you think of stuff, Thanos is tied in there. What are we going to see in this? We already know we're getting Hercules, we're getting the Black Knight, right? We're getting all these little, characters, smaller characters that wouldn't warrant their own movie or whatever, but are great to see. I mean, these are great Marvel side characters. They're fleshing out the Marvel universe so much at this point. And I'm super excited. All I know is that I was always going to go see Eternals because it's Marvel, but I was never like, okay, I was like, probably I'm more excited to see Shang-Chi than Eternals. But
right.
after this trailer, I'm like, okay, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Eternals, I'm down. So what did you think, Doug? Or did you get a chance to see the trailer?
Most of it. The freaking Celestials look cool.
Yeah, they do.
I'm trying to, based on the second one you see, the green one, it looks like they're making them like, I can't tell if he's like galactic size or what's going on there. It's weird. It looks like he's messing with a spiral galaxy or something like that. And I'm like,
yeah,
is that what's going on here? Or is that just something smaller scale that just looks like that,
Yeah.
But the way when I watched it, I really didn't get a chance to hear a lot of what was going on. I was mostly just watching.
Right.
So I didn't get all the story elements, but it looks cool. They showed off a lot more powers.
Yeah. Let's see Icarus's his eye beams.
Yep.
I was like, yes. Yeah, it's super exciting. This is after a year no Marvel, getting Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals. Yeah, nice. Spider-Man 4. Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah.
Crazy. All right. So that does it for our main stories. Now it's time to move on. It's Nerd Nugget time, folks. It's our smaller stories, our geek bites, if you will. And we'll start off with Amazon giving us our first look at the Wheel of Time. Okay, so we actually see... let me pull up... let me see here. Where are my pictures? So, yeah, first look at the Wheel of Time cast. And here we go. There is our Wheel of Time cast there. And going from left to right, we have Nynaeve, we have Matt, we have Lon, we have Moraine, we have Egwene, we have Perrin, and we have Rand, our main character. Right off the bat here, I was worried about this cast because they went different direction with this cast, and I was like, I'm not sure about this, but I kind of like the look. My only gripe with this is I really like Perrin. Perrin's my favorite character, and now seeing Perrin the actor dressed up as Perrin, I'm like, I'm fine with this guy. He's big enough to pull off Perrin. I have no problem. My only problem with is that Moraine is way too tall. Nynaeve should tower over
Yeah.
Moraine. And it
Yeah.
looks like she's shorter. I mean, she's at the end, so it's hard to tell, but
Right.
she looks significantly shorter than Moraine.
Lon doesn't look grizzled enough for me.
And Lon doesn't look grizzled enough.
But
True.
I mean, you know, it's kind of.
Although that guy who plays Lon is buff. You see him with his shirt off, he's like, he is cut. So
that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, he's dressed like just how you picture Lon. The only thing I'm like, his cloak should be more like, I don't know, like the blending cloak or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah.
His cloak that blends in with the background, kind of. But I mean, that's probably
maybe this is pre any kind of visual effects. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true. So what? I don't know. Here's our first look at this. I mean, this is one of those books that I don't know, man. Like almost everybody I know loves this story, and people put it up there, right? You know, with some of the best fantasy literature out there. But recently, a couple people that I've recommended this to have not liked it, and then I don't know whether it's just that they need to get through that first 3 books in order for it to really, you know, hit home or what. But I mean, I was just shocked. I as a fan of the series don't understand that people are not liking this.
Yeah,
because it's one of the best. So I mean, I don't know. Looking at the cast here, Doug, what do you think? What's your impression?
Yeah, I think they're fine. Like I agree with you that Moraine's too tall.
Yeah.
Rand looks good.
The three men look great. Like
what's that?
Matt, Perrin, and Rand look good.
Yeah, I never really thought of Matt as the kind of the scruffy guy, but sure, he works fine that way.
Yeah,
you know, shirt untucked and hair a mess and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, my concern was with Perrin. I'm like, because the guys that always we see before this was his headshot, right? You know, he's got like some pretty boy, you know, headshot. I'm like, this guy's playing Perrin. But now that I see him, I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine with all the men. I like the actress playing Moraine, so I guess I'll forgive her not being short. But
yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. It's hard to say. And then we got a couple other pictures, but one of the pictures is showing the main bad guy, Logain, in the main bad guy for the first story, in the cage here, surrounded by Aes Sedai, to keep him from using his powers. So he is one of the world's most powerful wizards, I guess, if you want to call them wizards in this world. But I guess it's basically what he is. And then these female wizards, are there to keep his power in check, along with this cage and all the ruins on it. So, I don't know. Your opinion on Logain?
Yeah, I think he looks cool. From what little we can see, I'd like to see him standing up to see how imposing he is. But you know, hopefully they got somebody who's nice and imposing. Yeah,
they're. I don't know. Man, this is one of those series that I'm like, please don't screw this up. I want this to be, one of those things where like, okay, this will never be able to be translated into like live action. You like read this story, it's too epic. There's no way. Yeah. And then, then we get Lord of the Rings, right? Which the same thing was said about that. And then it's on TV series, look at the long form storytelling format, which is what it's going to need because you could never do this as a movie or even a trilogy. I just hope they nail the landing, And at this point, from what I've heard from both, I think I'm slightly more excited for Wheel of Time than I am Lord of the Rings Amazon series. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. But speaking of which, go ahead, Doug. Tell us about Lord of the Rings.
All right. Amazon's Lord of the Rings series is moving production for season 2 to the UK instead of New Zealand. The announcement has caused quite a lot of backlash before season 1 even debuts, including from casts of the original movie.
Yeah. So yeah, they've been tweeting out like Elijah Wood tweeted out like a facepalm emoji with a link to the article. I mean, why would you leave New Zealand? I mean, clearly budgetary reasons, I'm sure, but how are you going to do Lord of the Rings with not in New Zealand? New Zealand is Middle Earth, and they did the first season there. So I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, depending on where the story goes, maybe they're doing more, in studio set stuff. No.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. So let's talk about. We got our first look at Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. That was last week. In an article, it was leaked. The image was leaked. And then they finally came out. Marvel came out and claimed it. And this is it. And then they had an interview with Oscar Isaac. He's talking about how much this experience differed from his X-Men Apocalypse, and where it was just a bad experience with X-Men Apocalypse, and then how much difference the right people make, and how much he enjoys going to work for Marvel.
Nice.
So let's see here. Let's take a look at what he looks like in costume. There he is, Moon Knight in all his glory, and we also saw a shot of him in action where he's like jumping through the air in a park, but it was from a distance, right? In his white costume. But yeah.
Cool.
There we go. And this is not, obviously you can see it's in a bathroom. This is this was the leaked image, right? I'm sure this wasn't what they wanted for their official image, right? This is not, all done up and airbrushed and whatnot. This is straight out him, probably changed in he's in a bathroom there. Like, oh, look at this. Snap this picture here. But
very excited about this one.
Yeah, I mean, out of the Disney Plus series that are they're coming out, Moon Knight's, and Oscar Isaac is an awesome actor. So I can't wait. I'm excited. All right, sir. What do we got?
All right. Anthony Mackie has officially closed his deal to return as the star of the upcoming Captain America sequel. It's also believed that Sebastian Stan, Daniel Bruhl, Emily Van Camp, Adepero Oduye, Sarah Wilson, his sister, Wyatt Russell, U.S. agent, and or Julia Louis-Dreyfus could reprise their roles, but it's all speculation for now. So we could get Baron Zemo, Sharon Carter, everything. Everybody from the TV show might be coming back. If
they're doing a Captain America movie they've got to be using those guys.
Well, at the very least, you've got to have Sebastian Stan back. Because they are now inexorably linked. You've got to have those two together.
Yeah, and Bucky's been in every Captain America movie to date.
Yeah.
So, you can't not have him in there.
Yep, I agree. It'd be nice to have all the others, but if they weren't in it, it wouldn't necessarily be bad.
Yeah. But I think the popularity of Baron Zemo, especially, his popularity is going to lend itself to, wanting him in the series. So, I can't imagine them doing it without him, as popular as he was. And they've set Sharon Carter up as, future, important part of the future of the MCU. So,
yeah,
we'll see where she goes. Whether or not they have Wyatt Russell or, anybody else, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So Netflix has now shared their first trailer for the other reboot of classic 80s animated series He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. Despite the fact that the Kevin Smith version was very divisive, and his take was very adult oriented in tone. This CGI cartoon is totally geared towards kids, and where Revelation took on basically was a continuation of the 80s cartoon and used the established mythology. This looks to be like a complete reinvention. And what it looks like to me from the trailer was that not so much maybe a reinvention, but kind of what they did with She-Ra, in the fact that this is like, it looks way in the future. It's far more technology, far less barbarian, far more technology. And because I mean, Skeletor mentions resurrecting his heroes, because you don't see anybody. Well, I mean, let's take a look at what the image looks like here. So this is the image of He-Man in the Master of the Universe here. So as far as the good guys go, it's He-Man and Battle Cat, and there's no other recognizable, right? And these guys are all Masters of the Universe. So He-Man is like a Master of Power. Battle Cat's a Master of the Wild, I guess. One's a Master of Technology. One's a Master of Magic. And one is a Master of Demolition, which is different than technology, I guess. But but I mean, they're all kids. Like Adam's a kid, right? Obviously, in this, and they all have something that boosts their power or whatever, makes them, grow bigger and more powerful. They're the Master of the Universe, and so they find this power sword, and Adam turns into He-Man. So, and then we have the Skeletor. So, and he's Keldor in this one. He's like, and he's Adam's uncle. He's like, why, Adam, don't you recognize your uncle Keldor or whatever? And then in a voice, and then it shows him turning into Skeletor. And then he has a line in the trailer where he's going to resurrect his masters of evil. And he's got Evil Lyn, he's Beastman, Trapjaw. So all the bad guys are familiar, although updated looking, right? And then, but none of the good guys are. Although there is a robot-looking Orko in one brief scene.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's like he looks like Orko, dressed kind of like Orko, but instead of like a black face you can't see, it's a computer face around like screen. I don't know. It's weird. This is. I hate to say it, as a huge fan of He-Man the Master Universe from the 80s, that neither one of these shows are for me. Right?
Yep.
The one that should have been for me, the new, the one that was supposed to have grown up with its fans, kind of did me dirty, and then now this one is straight for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Obviously, it's not for me. No, what we're doing. So,
no.
All right.
Let's head back.
Plus, I hate
Marvel.
that animation style. I gotta say, I hate that animation style.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Dumb. All right. Armor Wars, the Don Cheadle-led Marvel Studios series, finds its head writer in Black Monday's Yasir Lester. Lester, a talented stand-up comedian turned actor and screenwriter, as well as a hilarious Twitter follow, is an inspired choice for the series, as it will be his first big-budget action/adventure superhero project. Luckily, he'll be in his comfort zone, as the movie will reunite him with his Black Monday co-star Cheadle. He's served as one of the main writers and co-executive producers on the critically acclaimed Showtime series since its inception in 2019.
Yeah. This is one of those that I'm actually pretty excited for. I mean, if we get to see some of the other bad guy armors around there, I mean, I would have liked at one point to see Tony, like Iron Man, actually fight them, but I mean, Crimson Dynamo and Titanium Man,
right?
And
we only
Beetle.
got Ironmonger essentially.
Yeah, we got Ironmonger. Ironmonger's the only one that we got out of all the other armored suits. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's just gonna be War Machine going around collecting Tony Stark's tech that got out. So
that's cool.
I mean, that's basically the story of Iron Wars from the comics.
Yeah.
I mean, all I know is that in the comics, Iron Man went up against Doctor Doom. So Nah, not that we're gonna get Doctor Doom in Armor Wars.
Right.
He's not showing up in a Disney Plus series. But I don't know. I'm excited about this. I like Don Cheadle as War Machine. I like the concept.
Yeah, super
so
good.
hopefully and so far they've been good. So I don't have any complaints about what Marvel's put out yet. So, all right. So are we getting a Secret Wars series or movie? Okay. So we all know the Russo brothers were clamoring to do their, chomp at the bit to do a Secret Wars movie. And they said that's the only thing that would get them back to do another Avengers movie is if they just got to do Secret Wars. Right. But recently, Secret Wars writer Jim Shooter and former Marvel editor extraordinaire in the 80s, he believes Marvel Studios is making a movie version. And basically someone contacted him, offered him $10,000 to do a novelization of Secret Wars. Okay. And he was like, who is this? What are you doing? And then he's like, you're an idiot. Hung up on this guy. And then he actually got recontacted by let's see here. Was it? What's the guy's name? Bogart. He's basically the head of licensing and whatnot for Marvel. He's like one of the big guys out there who handles all these. Contacted him and told him like, all right, look, sorry about that other call from the other guy. He didn't get, they basically didn't get permission to call you. And it's all at a convention. This guy's Shooter's talking about this. And he says like, go ahead and take the $10,000, right? Why not? And he's like, well, because he knew he was, when he made those characters, when he wrote that story, it was property of Marvel, right? He doesn't have any rights to it. Mm-hmm. But they're like, yeah, take the money. And he's like, all right, so you're paying me for Secret Wars, even though I'm not going to be doing any novelization or anything for you. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and take the money. And he's like, does this mean you guys are making a movie? Or he says, this means you're making a movie, right? And he says, Bogart, the guy he's talking to, replied, I'm not allowed to tell you that. And so Shooter's all like, I think you just did. So yeah, that's the situation where they're in. Is basically the story told. It's like,
here's the thing. I can guarantee you 100% they are not making the original Secret Wars.
No, they're not.
Now they might be making the second Secret Wars. Even that would have to be like the ultimate culmination of Phase 4 and 5 and 6.
They'll make Secret Wars like they made Civil War, right? Have the name, have the same kind of concept, basically. It'll be roughly, but within the confines of what they can do in the MCU. Because there's no way they can do like the full Secret Wars.
Well, and I think in this instance, you don't have a Beyonder, you have Kang.
Yeah.
Bringing back, and it won't be like different, just random gathering of heroes or random worlds stuck together. It'll be people from random time frames brought together.
Yeah.
That's, if there's going to be a Secret Wars, I think that's how it happens.
So it's kind of like a culmination of maybe that's what they're building up to with all this multiverse stuff, right?
The next few phases that lead to the big confrontation with Kang, I think will be that kind of like, eventually you're going to have, because it's with the time travel, you can bring people in from whatever multiverse and or time zone, time frame or something like that.
Right.
So you could have people, you could have, whoever come back and
bring back dead bad guys.
Yeah. Bring back dead bad guys, bring back old actors who've moved on and bring them in for one last kind of cameo in this kind of Secret Wars, Secret Time Wars kind of thing.
Right, exactly. So they kind of introduced the concept of multiverse throughout these next several years in these movies coming up, and then finish it off with a Secret Wars Avengers movie.
Because they're also establishing Kang not only as a time traveler, but as like a Nexus being who exists in all of these multiverses.
Right.
And knows how to jump between them and either interact with or destroy himself and take over.
Right. So this guy contacting Jim Shooter, for a novelization of Secret Wars, right? Before he had the rights to talk, before he got the permission to talk to Jim Shooter about it, and basically calling back saying, "Hey, just take the money." The head of, licensing calling him back and said, "Yeah, just go ahead and sorry about that guy calling you. Just go ahead and take the money, though." You agree with Jim Shooter? Does this mean that they're making a movie?
Well, here's the weird thing about this. None of that conversation, as it's being relayed to us, makes any sense.
Yeah.
Basically, why would you ask for a novelization of either a property that already exists or a property that hasn't been written yet? I mean, and then just take the money. I mean, did this really happen, or is he making up stories or embellishing what?
I mean, it is Jim Shooter, so it's hard to tell. I mean,
so I'm like, what is going on?
Dude, I have this in comics. I know Jim Shooter gets a lot of crap, and he's done some horrible things like New Universe and stuff like that. A lot of failed stuff, but he did bring Marvel back from the brink, and I gotta respect Jim Shooter as editor-in-chief, because he started off as a fan, right? Who kept writing into Marvel, and that Stan Lee gave a shot at, brought him in, taught him how to write comics the Marvel way, and he worked his way all the way up to editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, right? Yeah. As a very young age. So you got to respect Jim Shooter, what he's done. And he's responsible for he had major flops, like, the whole Plasma Universe thing he did after Marvel, and then the new universe for Marvel, big time flops. But he also did, was responsible for like Secret Wars and some of the major 80s storylines.
Yeah.
That he took the chance on letting some of those Daredevil stories from the 80s come out that were like a little darker than what the other editors wouldn't allow. And he let writers have kind of more free reign. That's what he did as editor-in-chief. When they called that the second golden age of Marvel Comics. So with all that said, and all the stuff what he had, I respect Jim Shooter. Now, whether he's telling the truth here about this whole thing or not, I'm sure some version of this happened. But if they're contacting him about this, about Secret Wars, basically wanting to pay him off for Secret Wars, or possibly have him do a novelization of maybe a screenplay that's coming up. You know what I mean? That's probably the guy jumped the gun. What it sounds like is someone jumped the gun. Hey, wouldn't it be great if we got Jim Shooter, the original writer, to write the novelization of the movie? Because they always have a novelization that follows the movies, right? And and then someone basically contacted him without, basically going through all the proper channels. And then the head goes like, all right, look, sorry about that. Forget what that guy said. But, we've already allocated the money. Go ahead. Why don't we pay you? Which is about what they'd pay. I mean, usually it's about $5,000 they pay creators, but it's kind of a big deal. So, maybe they're, paying him for the rights for, not that they have to. They don't, because everything he did was under contract for Marvel, so they own everything. But Marvel usually does pay their creators, not as much as they should for what some of these movies have made, but, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know whether it's just part of me wants it, really hopes it happens, or what, for whether or not I believe him or not. But hey, that's his story.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's plausible. It sounds plausible to me. But
we shall see.
All right. Was there another story you want to talk about, Doug?
Oh, just that there was a rumor floating around that we might be getting a John Boyega-led Finn Disney Plus series.
That seems,
which, if true, would be awesome, because he was the character who got done dirty the most in that.
Yes.
He had the most intriguing concept that went nowhere.
But didn't he have a falling out with Disney
over? He didn't enjoy working on the movies. He did.
He kind of badmouthed the whole thing in public, but
well, there was a big portion of the creative team who might be coming in control who agree with him. So
that is true. That is true.
so I
Especially
could see that, people like
well, next month, man. Next month we'll know whether or not there's going to be a passing of the torch or not, right? So I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
right, yeah, it would be interesting. I think it could be cool. So
I'd be down for watching a Finn series
yeah,
because I like that character. I just wished, and you're right, he was done dirty.
if Filoni and Favreau are involved and get him involved, I think
Yeah.
you could do some cool stuff with that.
Yeah, because that's I'm right. Right, next month is the Kathleen Kennedy's contract's up.
I think so.
So they could be lining this up in anticipation of new people at the top.
Yeah.
So
Let's see.
but yeah, I mean, which I'm excited for. We'll see what happens. But anything with John Favreau and Dave Filoni handling Star Wars, I'm down for it. So all right. Well, that about does it for us tonight.
Oh, it's October 30th, 2020.
October 30th. Okay,
Yeah,
so October.
when it ends.
All right. But yeah, they'll probably announce who's taking over before, right?
What's that now?
They'll probably announce who's taking over before that, though.
One would assume, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, that's going to about do it for us tonight. We'll be leaving out a little early. Remember, if you guys check out our other podcast on the Grizzled War Master channel, link down below. At 7:30, we're going to be talking about Age of Sigmar and the podcast of glory. All your tabletop gaming news and discussion over there. If you want to continue on with the geek culture talk, be sure to check out the Absolute Geek podcast over on the Absolute Geek podcast channel. There's a link on our main page for that. And tonight, one of the original hosts, Kyle, is returning from Modern Comics Mayhem that he does on Saturdays over on the Tales on the Flip Side channel. So be sure to check that out. Check out the Absolute Geek podcast and check us out. And if you guys are listening out there or wherever you get your podcast from and you want to check us out or check out our videos, come on over to YouTube on youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek and check out all our videos over there. But otherwise, we'll see you again next Friday. Doug, you got anything last thing to add?
No. I think
Nope, we're good to go?
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next Friday.